Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we are going to deal with subjective and objective poetry by B.Prasad. So let us discuss the difference between subjective and objective poetry at first. Objective poetry, we can see in objective poetry the focus is on external objects, events and experiences. And here the poet functions as a detached observer, that is, the poet is not taking part in that particular poem. He describes what he has seen or heard without personal reflection, and as he is not taking part in it, and it is not about his emotions or feelings, the poem becomes impersonal. Examples for objective poetry: descriptive poems, narrators. And subjective poetry focuses on poet's thoughts, feelings, and reflections, unlike objective poetry. And here the poet expresses his personal emotions and experiences. He views subject from within, and as it is about the poet's thoughts, feelings, and reflections, it becomes personal. Examples: lyrical poems, introspective poems. So the difference is objective poetry is external, while subjective poetry is internal, and the tone of objective poetry is impersonal, whereas it is subjective. For subjective, it is personal. The approach is observation in objective poetry, and it becomes reflection in subjective poetry. Examples: Shakespeare's Youth and Age, which is an objective poem; Coleridge's Youth and Age, which is a subjective poem. And we have the different poetical types, like the lyric. It derived from ancient Greek melic or lyric song, and it is sung by a single voice with lyre accompaniment. And the features are: it expresses a single emotion or single idea, and it has that musical composition. It is having a great musical composition. And evolution: ancient times, we can see music is provided by instruments like harp or lyre, and that is why this particular term lyric. Later ages, we can see rhythmic possibilities of words themselves were discovered, and Elizabethan poets mastered the art of word music. Features are verbal melody, artistic arrangement of vowels and consonants, alliteration, and assonance. Examples: Tennyson's poetry. A line is taken from Tennyson's poem, "The morning of the surge that falls in falls of foam around the rocky bases." Important poets are Keats, Shelley, Tennyson, Swinburne. And lyric poetry today, it emphasizes emotional expression today also, uses language musically, continues to evolve with modern poets and styles. And the characteristics, again, it expresses a single emotion or feeling. It appeals to the heart, not just the intellect, as it is about emotion. It is very brief, usually short length, and subjective, intensely personal. And what is the structure? We have three parts there, that is motive, development, resolution. Motive is the introduction, which states the emotion or subject of the poem, and it sets the tone there. It is typically 1 to 4 lines or one stanza. And development, that is the body of the poem. It explores thoughts and emotions in this part, reaches its peak intensity and eloquence. And the third part, that is the conclusion, which is known as resolution. It returns to initial mood of the poem. It is intellectual, summarizing, and concluding. It often ends with a judgment, summary, or reflection. Key features: emotional expression, musical language, brief, concise format, personal, subjective perspective. And important poets: Edgar Allan Poe. Another notable lyric poets: Keats, Shelley, Tennyson, Swinburne. And different forms are there, like song, ode, sonnet, other short emotive poems. Importance: it conveys emotion swiftly and memorably. It uses language to evoke feelings and thoughts. It continues to evolve in modern poetry. Another form is the ode. Characteristics are: Exalted subject matter, that is very serious, dignified, and elevated tone and style is used in an ode. Length, when compared to a lyric poem, it is longer than a lyric poem, allowing for emotional development. And address, it is often directly addressed to the subject or object. Public occasions, sometimes commemorates important public events. Then types of odes, Dorian or Pindaric ode, that is choric, sung with dance accompaniment. Lesbian ode, it is originated from the island of Lesbos. Key features are serious and dignified composition, rhyming and elevated language, and it is emotionally developed and elaborate expression. Apostrophe or direct address is common in opening lines in odes. Examples: Wordsworth's Ode on the Intimations of Immortality, Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, and some more examples are given here. Structure, again, as we have seen in the lyric, here also we have development, conclusion, and in introduction we can see that apostrophe, that is direct address or appeal, and this emotional exploration and elaboration in the second part, that is the body, which is known as development, resolution or reflection, that comes to the conclusion. And different types are there, like Pindaric or Dorian ode, which is originated in ancient Greece, and its complex structure is strophe and strophe and chord. Example is Grace, the Progress of Poesy, and the Bard. Whereas Horatian or Lesbian ode, it is having simpler structure when compared to Pindaric ode. Short stanzas are there, similar length and arrangement. It is direct and having dignified treatment. It is popularized by Horace and Catullus. Examples are Andrew Marvell's Upon Cromwell's Return from Ireland. And the ode in English literature, not strictly bound by classical traditions. Two forms are there, like regular ode, irregular ode. In regular ode, we can see how the similar stanzas are being used, especially by Shelley and Keats. And in irregular ode, varying stanzas are being used by Tennyson and Robert Bridges. Then we have another form, that is the sonnet. Its origin is uncertain, though it is said that it originated in Sicily, province, or Italy. Anyway, it first appeared in Italy in 13th century, and it is associated with Petrarch and Dante. Originally a short poem with music accompaniment, derived from Italian sonetto, which means little sound or strain. And here also we can see the structure. Like for traditional sonnet, it has 14 lines. Rhyme scheme is ABBA, ABBA, CD, CD, CD. And traditional sonnet is divided into two parts. First part is octave, that is the first 8 lines, and sestet, that is the second part, which is comprised of final 6 lines. Altogether we have 14 lines there. Key poets who have used traditional sonnets are Pinter, Horace, Catullus, Dante, Shelley, Keats, Tennyson, Robert Bridges, and Andrew Marvell. Then Italian sonnet or Petrarchan sonnet, it also has that 14 lines but one single thought or feeling. It is divided into two parts, octave and sestet. Rhyme scheme is ABBA, ABBA for octave part, and for the sestet, that is the 6 lines, it is various. Rhyme scheme is different. For example, sometimes it is CDE, CDE, sometimes it is CDC, DCD. Then we also have CDE, DCE likewise. And we can see after the 8th line, that is after the octave, we can see a pause or caesura there. Turn in thought after octave, that is when it has that pause or caesura after octave or 8th line, there we can see new application or summary or dispute, something like that. Then structure, first part is octave, and it is like 2 quatrains, that is 4-line stanzas. 2 quatrains are there, 2 4-line stanzas are there. Then sestet, 2 terces, that is 3-line stanzas. And key features, it also expresses one idea or emotion. It is well marked with this pause after octave, and it has a new perspective or illustration in sestet. Examples: Milton's When the Assault Was Intended to the City, Milton's on his blindness. In Milton's On His Blindness, we cannot see such division between octave and sestet. And the importance is that it is revived by Milton in English literature. It is also known as classical sonnet, and Petrarch's model followed by other countries also. And the English sonnet, it is introduced to England in 16th century by Sir Thomas Wyatt and Henry Howard, who is Earl of Surrey, and is inspired by Italian sonnets but with modifications. Then Spenserian sonnet is there, again with 14 lines but 3 quatrains in the sense 3 4-line stanzas plus concluding couplet. Rhyme scheme is ABAB, CDCD, EFEF, GG. We cannot see pause or turn in thought, that is caesura and volta there after the 8th line, and climax is reached in the final couplet. Then in Shakespearean sonnet, same structure and rhyme scheme as Spenserian. Examples: Shakespeare's sonnets, which includes remembrance, and the features are it expresses grief or longing in quatrains. Then again the Spenserian sonnet, its features: it has 14 lines, 3 linked quatrains plus concluding couplet. Rhyme scheme, as we have already said, ABAB, BCBC, CDCD, EE, and it has interconnected quatrains through shared rhymes, and couplet stands alone in Spenserian stanza, in Spenserian sonnet. Then features each quatrain linked to the next through rhyme. This is how it is connected with the next quatrain. Second rhyme of one quatrain becomes first rhyme of the next, and it is similar to Shakespearean sonnet except for interconnected quatrains. And how it is different from Shakespearean sonnet? How Spenserian sonnet is different from Shakespearean sonnet? It is linked quatrains through shared rhymes. It's more complex in its rhyme scheme. Example: Spenser's sonnets. Then when it is compared to Shakespearean sonnet, both Shakespearean sonnet and Spenserian sonnet have 14-line structure. Same have that concluding couplet, but different rhyme scheme and quatrain connection. Important poet who have used this Spenserian stanza is Edmund Spenser, and the purpose of it is it creates a sense of continuity and flow between quatrains. It also adds complexity and depth to the sonnet form. And what are the subjects? It's originally focused on love, especially Shakespeare and other Elizabethan writers. They used to write on love. Later, it's expanded to include various human feelings and experiences that is used or that can be seen in Milton's poems. And next form is elegy. It is originated in ancient Greece and originally covered war songs, love poems, political verses, then lamentations for the dead, and it's judged by form, that is elegiac measure, not by subject matter. So here in elegy, form is important, not subject matter. And what is this elegiac measure? Elegiac measure is having the dactylic pentameter couplet, and here the first line, that is 6 feet. First line is 6 feet, long, short pattern. Second line is having 5 feet, long, short pattern. Then evolution of elegy. Initially, it was form defined, that is, elegiac measure was important there, form was important there. Later, it is transformed, that importance is transformed to theme or to subject matter. It became mournful, reflective, or somber subjects is being used there. Key poets: Shakespeare, Milton, then ancient Greek poets. Notable forms are sonnet, again 14 lines, various rhyme schemes; elegy with elegiac measure, various themes. Modern elegy, it is defined by theme, not by meter. It is typically mournful or reflective, and it is usually a lamentation for the dead or somber things. And it's written as a tribute to something loved and lost. It can be something or someone. Less spontaneous than lyrics, but often elaborate in style. No specific form is required in modern elegy. And features are dignity and solemnity without any artificiality, discursive reflections on death and related themes. It may include digressions, philosophical musings, and tributes. Emotional tone is shifted from grief to resignation or joy. Examples again: Gray's elegy written in a country churchyard, Milton's Lycidas, then Tennyson's In Memoriam, Matthew Arnold's Rugby Chapel. And why is it called elegy? Milton's Lycidas is an elegy on Edward King's death. In Memoriam is an elegy on Arthur Hallam's death. Rugby Chapel is an elegiac poem on his father's grave. So evolution shows the classical elegiac measure how no longer it is used, and it is theme driven, not form driven. Formal elegance, simplicity, or complexity is allowed. And important poets: Thomas Gray, John Milton, Tennyson, Matthew Arnold. Then there is pastoral elegy also, that is a type of elegy that uses rustic settings, rustic in the sense rural settings, and shepherd imagery. The poet represents himself as a shepherd mourning mourning a companion's loss. Originated with Sicilian Greeks like Theocritus, Idylls, and epigrams, but perfected by Virgil. Revived in 15th, 16th century Italy during Renaissance, is introduced to England through Spenser's Shepherd's Calendar. And features are rustic settings and shepherd image. Rustic settings in the sense countryside settings or rural settings, and shepherd imagery is being used in pastoral elegy. And the poet speaks as a shepherd mourning a companion because it's about the loss. Use of metaphors and allegories can be seen in elegy. Typically laments a friend or patron's death. Again, the examples are given here, like Lycidas, Tiresias, Astrophel, Virgil's Eclogues, and Georgics. And it's influenced by classical Greek and Roman poetry. It's adapted to English literature through Spenser and others. It continued to evolve through Renaissance and beyond. Notable poets are Theocritus, Virgil, Edmund Spenser, John Milton, Matthew Arnold. Another form is idyll. What is an idyll? A poetic form emphasizing pictorial description and brevity. It is derived from Greek word for little picture. It has no set form or structure, and features are related brevity, pictorial effect through graphic description, vivid visual presentation of theme. So idyll gives us vivid presentation, visual presentation of theme. It often uses imaginative rendering of scenes or experiences. Language is carefully chosen for desired impression. Examples: Milton's Allegro, Wordsworth's Lines Written in March, then Shakespeare's pastoral scenes in As You Like It, Tennyson's English idylls, Browning's dramatic idylls. And style and treatment, no objective description is given there, but poet's interpretation only. And it's imaginative rendering, not mere facts. That is why it gives vivid visual presentation of the theme. Language is designed to leave lasting images. The language plays a very important role there, as it is language which makes that vivid visual presentation of the subject matter. It's very simple. It has a natural style or literary ornaments. And about subject matter, varied themes are being used in idylls. English tradition, we can see lowly life or rural scenes are there in idylls. Pastoral idylls show the shepherd life, especially ancient Sicily life. And it's influenced by Virgil's Eclogues and Renaissance. And evolution shows that it is originated in ancient Greece and it's adopted by Romans, that is Virgil especially. It's introduced to England during Renaissance, and it got evolved into various forms like epic, dramatic, etc. And important poets are Theocritus, Virgil, John Milton, William Wordsworth, Alfred, Lord Tennyson, Robert Browning. In epic poetry, it is a long tale in verse with heroic characters, and it weaves together legends and exploits. It's noble and exalted language. Classical examples: Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, Virgil's Aeneid, Milton's Paradise Lost. And proposition and invocation can be seen in epics, like themes stated in opening lines, which is accompanied by prayer to the muse. And Homeric epithet, that is repeated phrases or terms for people, places, or things, can be seen in epics. They are known as Homeric epithet. Then Homeric simile, that is elaborate comparisons developing into word pictures, are known as Homeric simile. Then features heroic characters can be seen in epic. Supernatural and magical elements can also be seen there. And it shows the god's intervention in human affairs. Style of languages, grand style is used there. Epic devices, examples, Tennyson's Motadiada, we can see Homeric epithets there. Matthew Arnold, Sorab and Rustum, where we can see Homeric simile that gives that visual presentation. It is originated in ancient Greece. It also influenced Roman and European literature, continued through Renaissance and beyond. Important poets are Homer, Virgil, John Milton, Tennyson, Matthew Arnold. And its features are, again, supernatural agents control the action in the epic poem. Classical gods or goddesses or Christian supernatural agencies can be seen there. Exploits of heroes or triumph of holy causes become the subject matter usually. Thrilling episodes like battles, duels, wanderings, ordeals are seen in these type of poems. It's usually divided into 12 books, and it has a moral purpose also. It's not prominent in early epics, which was written by Homer and Virgil, but it was introduced by Tasso. Spenser's Fairy Queen also teaches gentlemanly virtues to us. Milton's Paradise Lost justifies God's ways to men. And different epic types like folk epic and literary epic. Folk epic shows the epic of growth, and literary epic is epic of art. Folk epic shows the natural growth from popular songs and fragments like Homer's Iliad, Beowulf, etc. Literary literary epic is epic of art, that is conscious literary effort. That's the result of a conscious literary effort which is planned in epic manner. For example, Virgil's Aeneid, Milton's Paradise Lost. It's not very natural, it is conscious. Evolution shows that classical epics by Homer and Virgil, then Christian epics by Tasso, Spenser, Milton, then mock epics, which are the parody of epic form like Pope's Rape of the Lock. Important poets are Homer, Virgil, Tasso, Spenser, Milton, Pope, Communes, Thomas Hardy. And what are the features of mock epic? We have already said that it is the parody of epic. It's parody of epic form. Trivial theme is treated with epic dignity here. The theme is silly or trivial, but it is treated with epic dignity. Incongruity between theme and treatment can be seen there. Example, Pop's Rape of the Lock. And then ballad. It arises from folk literature. It's older than Chaucer, native to England. It is originally sung by strolling singers or minstrels, and it's collected in Bishop Percy's Relics of Ancient English Poetry, which was published in 1765. And features are, it is very short story that is written in verse form, intended to be sung, written in ballad measure, that is quatrain with specific rhyme scheme, and it has an abrupt opening without any introduction. It is impersonal treatment, that is, we cannot see the poet's emotions or feelings there. It's just like an observer. The poet is just like a detached observer there. No author's identity is there. Sometimes some of the ballads are having unknown authors. Repeated lines like refrain and stock phrases. Vague time and place details. It is not clear about the time and place. The details are not clear. Kinds of ballads: ballad of growth, which is authentic ballad, then ballad of art, which is literary ballad. Then authentic ballad, it has unknown authorship. That means its author, who is its author, is not known to anyone. It's naturally grown among primitive people. That is why it is ballad of growth. It is known as authentic ballad. And ballad of art, that is literary ballad, just like uh, epic here also it is conscious attempted ballad manner, imitative. Then examples for authentic ballads are Chevy Chase, The Wife of Usher's Well, Sir Patrick Spence, For literary ballads, quotes Eve of St. John Coleridge's Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Keats' La Belle Dame, Sans Mercy. Mock ballads are, they also like mock epic, we can see it is also parody of ballad, or we can see comic theme is treated seriously here. It follows ballad model closely. Examples are Cooper's John Gilpin, William Magin's The Rime of the Ancient Wagoner, that is parodying Coleridge's Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Features are, it's very simple, fierce and tragic tales. Supernatural elements can be seen there. Deeds rather than thoughts. That is, here deed is important than thought. Memorable forts, adventures, love and war can also be seen in ballads. Important poets are traditional ballads. We don't know who are the authors of traditional ballads, so still we have a lot of traditional ballads there. And then by Sir Walter Scott, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, John Keats, William Cowper, William Magnan. Then satire, another form is satire, literary composition aimed at ridiculing folly or vice. That is satire. It's very light form, but intended to keep reader in good humor. It aims to amend vices through correction. A classical origin. It has a classical origin. It influenced European literature during or after Renaissance. And Elizabethan and Augustan satire in England is very important in English literature. The essentials are, it is inspired by personal grievance or passion or reform. It attacks person or group or social evil or folly, that is, it wants to correct it. Satire wants to correct it. A light literature, it is very light literature hovering on burlesque, is intended to ridicule, not abuse. It hates sin, not sinner. That's why it wants to correct it. Forceful, it is very forceful, outspoken yet concise. And important satires are Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel, then Macflecknoe, Butler's Hudibras, Pope's Dunciad, Byron's Vision of Judgment. Then subjects, corruption, dishonesty, vice, contemporary follies, foibles, social conditions, problems, modern civilization. All these are the themes that can be seen in satires. Satirist, important satirists are Aristophanes, Horace, Persius, Juvenal, Dryden, Pope, Butler, Byron, George Bernard Shaw. And the forms are, it is written in verse, both in verse and in prose. In verse it is known as ode, elegy, ballad, and in prose it is novel or essay. A drama, it is also written in drama like play. Features are, it is ridiculed, or we can see that what you call irony, sarcasm in a ballad, in a satire, is forceful and its language is very concise. It attacks specific targets. It aims to reform, not just criticize. It wants to correct the sinner. And different stanza forms are there, like heroic couplet. It has two iambic pentameters, that is lines of 10 syllables rhyming together. Pause at end of each line and couplet, closed, complete in itself. Single rhyme, it has single rhyme, rarely double. And characteristics, it has a pause, closure, symmetry. Users, Pope, Dryden, Chaucer, and the variations are triplet, enchant couplet, Alexandrine. Then we have terza rima. Terza rima, we can see there are tercet, 3-line stanza with specific rhyme scheme. First and third lines rhyme, middle line rhymes with next tercet. It forms a unit in a running series. Its origin is Italian, used by Dante and Shelley. Characteristics, continuous sense enchantment is there in terza rima. Chaucerian stanza, that is rhyme royal. It has 7 lines, iambic pentameter, rhyming AB, AB, BCC. It's first used by Chaucer but adopted by Shakespeare and William Morris, suited for narrative verse. Characteristics, it has a complex rhyme scheme that is suited for storytelling in Chaucerian stanza. Ottava rima, it has 8 lines, iambic pentameter, rhyming AB, 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 CC. Italian origin, introduced by Sir Thomas Wyatt. It is suited for narrative, humor, satire. Users, Byron, Shelley, Keats. Features, adaptable, humorous, satirical. And then Spenserian stanza. It has 9 lines only. Iambic pentameter rhyming AB, AB, BC, BC, C. Used by Spenser in his The Faerie Queene. Is suited for lengthy narrative and descriptive poetry. And features are it has that complex rhyme scheme, relieving monotony with alexandrine. So Spenserian stanza, what all are the drawbacks and usage of Spenserian stanza? First, we can discuss drawbacks. It encourages prolixity and over adornment, requires repeated rhymes, that is one thrice, another 4 times, taxes poet's ingenuity. Notable users Spenser, The Faerie Queene, Thomson, Burns, Byron, Childe Harold, Keats, The Eve of St. Agnes, Shelley, Adonais, The Revolt of Islam, Tennyson, and features pictorial quality, technical difficulties surmounted with ease, suitable for narrative and descriptive poetry. And examples are Byron's lines, Childe Harold, addressing the ocean, Shelley's lines, Adonais, exemplifying technical skill and pictorial quality. And here we have an analysis of a poem, Two Blossoms by Herrick. First of all, we have to analyze the poem about the structure. Here it is a lyric, and let us consider the structure of it. In a lyric, the structure is introduction, development, and conclusion. Introduction is motive. In the first 2 lines, we can see how the poet is trying to state the theme of sadness and brief life of flowers. And development is shown in the next 4 lines in following stanza, which explores thoughts and emotions, that gives the fleeting nature of flowers, brief destiny, and sadness of nature's creation and destruction. Then in the conclusion, there is a resolution part, final lines. It concludes that all earthly beauty is evanescent, that beauty shines briefly, then lost forever. The important points are Herrick's Two Blossoms exemplifies the lyric poem structure. Emotionally, it is expressive, personal, and brief, and it explores themes of impermanence and fleeting beauty, and how the features, how the characteristics are can be analyzed in this poem. Emotional expression is there, musical language is there, it is brief, and it has a concise format, and it is personal, subjective perspective. So this is how we have to analyze a poem. Thank you all.